coach. Obviously, they got out to a lead. You guys got the lead back, and then that fourth quarter is tied. You're thinking, okay, we're right there. What didn't happen in that fourth quarter, you feel?
I mean, it's a blur for me right now. I'm just thankful that God allowed me to be in this position, to be head coach in the finals. It hurts badly, but I'm also grateful that we had this chance to play for a championship. And I'm just grateful for that part. The fourth quarter, I mean, it's pretty evident we just couldn't score enough. We had opportunities, a lot of shots in and out. I thought our transition offense tonight, we couldn't convert. We had a number of opportunities to, get a layup, get a three, and we just, couldn't do it. And it hurt our defense. Our defense was really good tonight. If you look at what Giannis did, you'd be like, but the rest of the team, they had 105 points. We shot 6 for 25 from three. We just couldn't knock down those shots, couldn't convert in transition. And, if I had to point to anything in the fourth quarter, that was it. We just couldn't convert.
Next question to Kellen. Go ahead, Kellen.
Hey, Monty, all year we've been talking about depth, and you've been preaching it, and you get Campaign and Frank to step up in huge pockets.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on their play and the way they energize the team.
It's Frank was huge. That it's going to bother me all summer that I didn't give him a shot in the last game. Not to say that he would have done the same thing, but he played his tail off tonight. And Cam has been like that for us all year long. His ability to score the ball and push the pace was huge for us. In a game like this, you want to go with your guys and play a lot of our guys heavy minutes tonight, our starters. But to your point, Frank and Cam really helped us.
Go to Gina. Go ahead, Gina.
Monty, you're always so good at putting things in perspective, and you've already done that even here.
Yeah.
Just how long do you think it's going to take you to kind of process this and to reflect on what a special season this was, and then what's that going to be like, sort of touching base with guys and sort of, just being able to actually take all of this in rather than just the hurt of tonight?
I don't know. It's my first time doing it. I've never dealt with this kind of hurt as a head coach. And I don't know. I just think that, when you go through something like this for the first time, you don't expect to get this far. And so from that standpoint, what a huge accomplishment by our players to get to the playoffs for the first time and get all the way to the finals and have a chance to play for a championship. Like, that's hard to process. You typically get to the first round and you're done, and you learn, and then you try to get to the second round. We got all the way to the finals, and that hasn't been lost in my thinking. There's just a pain that goes with your season being over, but I've never dealt with this. And so, I'm grateful, like I said, but I know this is going to hurt for a while, but I don't want that to take away from what our guys did this year. They battled all year long, and with all the testing and playing every other day to get to this point and have a chance to play for a championship, like, it's unreal, that our guys did this. And so from that standpoint, I'm grateful and I feel for them. But I also express to them, now we know what it takes to get here. It's going to be that much harder to get past this point. And the reality is, you never know if you're ever going to get back here. That's why you have to take advantage of these opportunities. And they did. We just came up short.
Mark, go ahead, please.
Monty, obviously Chris has an extensive resume and is competitive as anyone, but do you think there's enough an appreciation for what he's done as opposed to just the general public getting hung up on the ring count and all that?
I don't think any of those guys who are in that category are appreciated enough. You know, it's laughable when you talk about guys like Chris who've had these unreal careers and yet they get penalized because they haven't won a title. You know, that was my goal, was to win it for him and Book. You know, those guys have carried us all year long. And Chris is my second time coaching him. I know what he puts into his craft. I know the dedication. And so when I hear those sentiments about his career because he hasn't won a championship, it's just silly. You know, it's hard enough to make it to the NBA, let alone be an all-time great, which is what he is.
Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Monty, you guys obviously gave everything you could. Sometimes, and you've been in the game for a long time, you just have to recognize the opposition. The fact that Giannis has 3 40-point games, caps it with the 50-point game. Just what can you say about what you're going up against, a team led by Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I just think their experience in these moments was pretty evident. You know, this is like their 4th or 5th time with this group, and that means a lot. You know, him scoring the way that he did, if you look at the stats, they only had 105 points. That wasn't the deal. He's just a great player. But I just thought because they've been in these moments before, it made up the margins for them, especially in those moments where, you know, you need a stop, you need a bucket. There was no panic. There was no lack of poise. And it's part of our journey. We have to go through it. And I've been telling our guys that for 2 years. You have to go through what you have to go through. And there's a deep hurt that you have to feel. And they felt it before. And this is our first time. And James and I were just talking. He said he's felt it 4 times in the finals, you know, that kind of thing. So that's what I saw tonight. You know, not just a guy that was putting up numbers and is a great player, but I saw a team that had a lot of experience in playoff situations.
Take 2 more questions. Go ahead, Yvonne.
Hey, Monty. Going back to Chris for a second, can you contextualize what you think this season means for his career and him making his first finals and having some of the performances he had against Denver and the Clippers and just him leading a team to the finals for the first time?
Yeah, I just think it speaks to his greatness. You know, he's a generational player. I said that 11 years ago when I coached him in New Orleans, and everywhere he's gone, the team has won. They've improved. And he's been close. You know, he was an injury away from getting here before, but to, you know, he along with Book to lead a team that's never been there to this point says a lot about their talent, their dedication, the will to win. And speaking of Chris, he's done it everywhere he's gone, you know, and so every time I've coached him, I've had a lot of success with him, and I'm grateful for that, and grateful for all of our guys that give it to us every single day. You know, I don't take that for granted. You know, players that allow you to coach them, the relationships that we have off the floor. You know, Chris and I, he's the kind of guy that goes and seeks out my daughter when they're at all-star events. You know, that's who he is. That's doesn't get talked about, you know. And so and speaking of his career, you're not going to find many point guards ahead of him, and be hard pressed to find a lot of players ahead of him when you talk about all-time greats.
Final question to Rachel.
Monty, now that you've been through your first finals,
Yeah.
can you process what you've learned from it, or is that going to take a while?
I think it's going to take me a minute, you know. I just don't take it for granted. It's hard to get here. And I wanted it so bad, you know. It's hard to process right now. It's hard, you know. That's all.
Thank you, Coach.